Well, welcome everybody. This is Create, Engage, Succeed with Mary
Amadeus.
and today we have our special guest, Michael Temperato. And if I mangle your name, I apologize in advance. Um, but I have had the pleasure of taking Michael's Facebook ads course as a beta tester. And for those of you that are used to our Create, Engage, Succeed show, don't mind Amadeus going green again. It just seems to randomly happen. But if you're seeing a green square, it's perfectly okay. Aliens have not taken over your computer. But with that being said, I would like to ask Michael to introduce himself, and then we're going to really get some nitty gritty on Facebook ads. So, Michael, take it away.
Hi, well, it is great to be here. Thank you both for having me. As I said, yeah, my name is Michael Temperato. I'm 28 years old, and I run a digital marketing agency in the city of Rochester, New York. And, I'm sure we'll talk more here about it, but as Mary said, I was blessed to have her beta test the course, and that's how we ended up meeting. And it's been wonderful having her insight. And yeah, I'm happy to be here and share any insight I can into what I do and why it's important, for any business that's really trying to increase, both their influence and their income online.
I love it. So,
Those
Amadeus,
are
why don't you kick it off? Because you and Michael are very similar age wise, and you're both entrepreneurs.
sure. So Michael, I'll go ahead and before we get into the nitty gritty. So what inspired you or happened or encouraged you to start being an entrepreneur and start everything up?
Well, I had some disadvantages at the very start. There are things in my life really tried to hold me back, and obviously, I want to do well in my life. I wanted to excel in it and exceed. I pictured myself getting married, having children, a home. So I'm starting to ask myself, how am I going to do this? And just the path of entrepreneurship really was just attractive because in my mind, it presented the opportunity to do something that I loved, or better yet, that I was already good at for money. So just that initial idea kind of got me started. And then once I started listening, to people smarter than me, richer than me, who with better life habits than me, and I started to realize, wow, this is more than just, oh, I want to start a business and make money. This is like a mindset. This is a lifestyle. It's diligence. It's a willingness to persevere in the face of mistakes and all the random things that try and get in our way. So I ended up diving into that, and just it just turned into this education about finances and wealth preservation. And I need to get up at 7 and make my bed in the morning, and you, you know what I mean. But I guess, taking a long story short, so I started just basically making digital media, so video and photography. I've done a lot of work for a small business in my city. I focused a lot on video, right? So that's where I was. I was making content, and I wanted to help business, increase their engagements, to help people discover who they are, to connect with their brand. And that's where I started. And then unfortunately, when CV happened and things started shutting down, my business slowed down very, very much. And I was, again, learning how to adapt and how to grow. And so what ended up happening was I was presented the opportunity for some of my clients to take over their Facebook ads. And, I guess in a nutshell, my first client, in the past 6 months, I've profitably spent over $50,000 for
Wow,
just over $300,000 in return.
it's
Wow.
amazing.
Oh, it blew my mind. I had never seen anything like that before, because now I'm not just making the content for my customers. Now I'm not just posting the content and managing it on social media, but now I'm learning how to take it and like give Facebook $1 or two and get anywhere from 5 to 10 back. It was lucrative to me. I'd never seen anything like that. So to see that result, and better yet, to see how it affected the business that I work for, while it was just like such a hard time for so many businesses. And then yet at the same moment to be seeing some doing almost better than they ever have. it was like, wow, there is so much opportunity here. There's so much that not just me, but every business could benefit from. And one thing that I really try and shoot home in this course is the fact that all these tools that advertisers use are free. Facebook offers an ads manager to every single person who has a Facebook account. So here you have businesses and people who are already on social media, and I just see it as my goal to help them get the most from it, and just all the opportunity that lies for people. Something else that's worth noting too is that it can be expensive if you want to hire an agency to do that for you, right?
Right.
So there's also a big advantage for companies that have the time or the manpower to do it in-house. I just saw a great value for that, that we could make. I named the course Basic Home Ads because I feel like it's sort of like this hedge, like it's rocket science over it. Oh, I must hire somebody, and they can put out bills of $2,000-$3,000 a month, and for many businesses, it's like I can't get started off that.
Right.
So to be able to offer a cheaper course with self-learning, and we're offering some other cool things in there. I just thought it was a great way to really help business succeed and just to grow during a time when it's been pretty hard for some. So
yeah,
kind of some stuff.
I mean,
that's fantastic.
Great. And the fact that you are in your 20s, Amadeus is in his 20s, both of you kind of like decided, I'm going to take the bull by the horn, so to speak, and chart my own path is fantastic. I love seeing that because so many people are like, oh, I can't become an entrepreneur until I'm older, or I need this, or I need that. And I really am encouraged by what you're saying about, it's mindset, it's a journey. It's, sometimes it is getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to meet with a client, but you're charting your own path. I mean, and I've done it, but it's just like you meet people where they're at. And I really like the fact that you stressed giving back, because that's one of the things that we really focus on in our business too, is giving back to the community. Amadeus, do you have anything to say before I start hammering Michael with some questions?
Go for it. Start the interrogation.
So he's the good guy. I'm the interrogator. So one of the things that I noticed in your course was the video was very well done. And I want to get into the nuts and bolts of the course in just a minute. But as we work with course creators, that is something that we frequently run up against is poor quality video. And then people wonder why nobody else wants to take their course. And for those of you that after you watch this episode are interested, I'm sure Michael's going to tell you how you can access his course. He's done 2 things that I really, really like. High quality video. And it's not necessarily like when I say high quality, I don't think he spent $10,000 on a professional videographer to shoot like a short video, but it was high quality. It was well lit. There was information on the screen so that I was constantly paying attention. And then the part that was really great is he also had the handouts from the video so that I could A, follow along, but B, I could have those as reference later. So for example, when I was exploring the section on Facebook pixels, which so many people are confused by, I had something there that served as a guide. So as a course creator, Michael, I want to say kudos and high five. It was so well done. And I appreciate that. And you're welcome. And just quickly, because it's not on topic, but do you have like 1 or 2 video tips for soon to be course creators to get to that quality that you did?
Well, today it's way easier to get a solid camera for cheaper. So there are a lot of affordable solutions for less than $100 in order to get decent video. Few simple principles to keep in mind is, like you said, things you need to have light, things need to be well lit. You need to make sure you're in focus. That's another one. And if you can get an external mic for the camera, or you can use the camera audio. One thing that's really encouraged me that I'll also just say here, especially for beginners, is press play. Press play and go for it. It's so hard to get started. It really is, because there's, especially when sometimes you don't have as much accountability. It's easy to get lost in your own thoughts and to just think, oh, all my work is trash, you know? And so you have to start somewhere with what you have, even if it's not the best camera, maybe not the best audio, but you start somewhere, and then that gives you something to improve off of. There's a company that I really like called Founder, and one of the main guys in Founder, he just puts out awesome quotes. But one of the things they have talked about is that when you're getting past just that initial threshold of just trying, that's actually what opens the door to make it better after. So the problem is that many people, they want the best thing the first try, and that rarely ever happens, right? And so you have to do it, even if it is terrible. Like he said this one thing one time, he said, we almost try to make something we don't like at first. That blew my mind.
I like that.
Right? Because it just made so much sense to me, because that is the creative process. So, there are some little things, right? Your lighting, make sure you're in focus, but you should be able to get a decent camera. You got to start somewhere, and then just improve from there.
So I'm going to piggyback on what you just said and apply it to Facebook ads, because I think that's also something that scares a lot of people about running Facebook ads is, I have to get it perfect. I have to get it right. And if you apply that same philosophy that you just shared about video creations, would you say that's also similar with Facebook ads? Sort of start low, try a few things, see what people, see what's capturing people's attention? Or would you say go out and spend your whole budget and then see what happens?
That's a great question. I think it is always a great idea to start smaller, certainly. Technically, you really wouldn't want to go anywhere from $5 to $25 a day on a single ad set that is brand new. There's two factors, I'd say, just to summarize it up. Facebook is a tool. So just like any other tool, you have to learn how to use it. It's kind of a lot of head knowledge, probably not the best example, but if you have a wrench, right? A wrench isn't used like a screwdriver. So it is a specific, it's pretty simple, but you do have to put it on the right way. You have to use it a certain way. So that's one half of the equation. You just got to learn how to use the tools, learn how to use the software, But then the second half of the equation, and this actually, I believe, is by far the biggest problem, the biggest issue facing successful advertising. It's creating an offer. So you have the side where you just got to learn how to use the tools. And then you have the side where now you have to create an awesome offer. You have to really show the community who you are, what you do, and why you are a viable choice amongst the host of other service or product providers. So those two factors both are important. I by far find that the offer part is where people are failing. So even if you don't have, the best skills in understanding the software, one thing I say in the course is that, let's say that you had perfect targeting, right? And I mean flawless. Everything was right on your age groups, your demographics, your interests, job titles if you use them. But then you combine that with a bad offer, it's just not going to get you sales. It's not going to get you leads because, maybe your offer is confusing. You don't have a clear call to action. Sometimes we can get in our own way of our own offers, and we make things that we like necessarily than what our customers are actually looking for. So that I absolutely would say that certainly you got to start somewhere. We're always gathering data too when we get started,
right?
But it's certainly both using the tools and having something worth running ads on. A developed and a well communicated offer.
Oh, that is really good to hear. So I guess sort of as an analogy, like you used the wrench. in terms of the offer, that would be like me offering a 3/4 pound beef burger to an audience of vegans and vegetarians.
Yes.
I mean, I've targeted everything. I got the right age group. They're the right demographic. They live in the right zip code. And I just missed that one little thing, like they don't eat meat.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Okay.
Right.
So another question, and again, I don't want to give away everything in the course because I learned a lot. The question that we frequently get from our clients, though, is how do I know if my ad campaign has been successful? Because people throw out all these numbers and everything. And, you know, I was reading a post the other day and it's like, I got a 30% conversion rate. Somebody's like, oh, nobody, it's a 2% conversion rate. Can you describe that in real language for people that don't live in that world? Like, how do I know what good looks like? Like when Amadeus played tennis, I knew what a good serve looked like. It went over the net, it landed in the right square.
Right.
It might have been ugly, but it was a good serve. So how does somebody look at that? Because I think that scares a lot of people also.
Absolutely. That's a great question. So certainly there are some data lines to understand. And one thing you mentioned the pixel earlier, that's why it's pretty key to have a pixel. It's not always a game changer, but if you can, have it, install the pixel. Because what that's going to do is just gather as much data as possible from your users, the people who are going to your website or landing on your Facebook or Instagram pages. So by tracking what they do, we can measure the performance of our ads. So for example, in the course, I break down a very typical funnel. And that would be starting with the ad. Someone sees an ad, then let's say they click it and then they land to your website. And then maybe they start browsing some products. Then let's say that they add one of them to their cart and then someone finally purchases one, right? Mm-hmm. The whole sales process, it's called many things, but most commonly it's called that funnel. And when it comes to understanding your data metrics, it's really about understanding the relationship between each of those steps. So what do we want the most? Purchase, right? Uh-huh. You know, or we want to get a phone call, or we want the lead, or sometimes people, they actually want to send physical traffic to their store in like a physical location. So by measuring, starting really from the bottom up, we'll be able to measure performance. So let me give you just a little bit better example. So Facebook has a column called return on ad spend. So if you have a pixel set up, the pixel will track when you make a purchase that came from the ad, right? Okay. It'll connect the two. So in the ads manager, you'll be able to see, well, I spent $40 last week on ads, and I see that I made 3 purchases for $60 each that came from that ad. So what did I say? 3 purchases, $60 each. That's 60, 120, 180, yeah. Right? 180. So you spent $40 and you made 180. And so that is the most basic way, right? You're just seeing what you made for what you spent. But it does get deeper, and you can divide things up by other metrics that allow you to see even more to judge performance. So for new people, much of that question is, well, do I leave an ad set running or do I turn it off? You know, what am I looking for? And now we're going to look at some other key metrics that we talk about in the course, like our click-through rate or our cost per click, our cost per 1,000 impressions. So a click-through rate is how many people click through who saw. So if 1,000 people saw your ad and 10 people click through, that is I believe that's a 1% conversion or click-through rate. Mm-hmm. So anywhere between 1 to 5% are standard click-through rates. So you want that, right? You want people clicking your ad. It shows that they're interested. Then let's say that of that people who clicked and came to your website, right? Not all of them browse products, but maybe some of them did. And so then we'd be looking for other indicators like, well, did they add to cart next? All right, they made it to the website, but what did they do from there? Uh-huh. You know? And so then we see, all right, they added to their cart. or maybe they visited your About Us page. You could be tracking that. I see people really want to learn more about us before purchasing. So you can see all those lines of data right in Ads Manager. Your cost per click. I mentioned cost per 1,000 impressions. That's the cost for how many 1,000 times your ad was seen. Generally speaking, we don't want those above $10. I mentioned cost per click. Cost per click, generally, we wouldn't want, it could be anywhere from, say, 50 cents to $5. And I break that down a little bit more in the course, but those are just some general examples. So you're looking at your data metrics, and the return on ad spend is the king of all, but there are other metrics you can weigh to judge performance. Let me make another comment about that. So let's say that people added to cart, but they didn't purchase. Mm-hmm. The people who added to cart are still better than people who didn't add to cart, right?
Right.
So even though maybe you didn't get what you want, which is the purchase, that's still an indicator your ads are doing well, the add to cart. So it is a process of learning and gathering data and letting the system, we talk about this a lot, the learning phase, learn for itself. So that's just good to keep in mind, because you could see that and be like, oh, they're not working. I'd say, well, wait a second. You got 10 add to carts. Those are people who are interested. Now you should focus maybe then on remarketing to see if you could capture some of them, right? Why didn't they purchase? So there certainly is the funnel is a process from when they see your ad to when they finally purchase. And our goal as honest advertisers is to present who we are and what we do the clearest way we can. And, then it's up to people to obviously make their own decisions.
Right. Well, and I'm thinking like abandoned cart. Maybe it was you had a great offer. I was excited. And then I got there and I went, whoa, it's $5,000. I don't have $5,000 for a cat tree or whatever. So it's like, okay, everything was right except for the price point. And like you said, that's a good time then to retarget or go like, well, maybe I need to let them know when we have a sale, or maybe I need to do whatever. Right. This has been fascinating. So we are down to the last few minutes of the show. And I always like to honor both our audience's time and our guest time. To sort of recap, really creating Facebook ads then is both an art and a science, because the science is the data and the metrics and figuring that out and learning what's working for your audience. And then the art kind of comes into the offer itself, whether it's the graphics or the color palette or the verbiage. And so it really is, a lot of people think, oh, I can just go to Canva, slap something together and run it as a Facebook ad.
Right.
And you might be able to, but again, if the offer, I can make a great looking, fantastic, juicy hamburger, but if I'm offering it to a bunch of vegans and vegetarians, I'm not going to get a very good click-through rate because that's not what they're interested in.
Exactly. Yep. That was perfectly stated. Yep.
So this was fantastic. So what I'd like to end with, first of all, do you have any questions?
No, that was super enlightening. I've not really touched Facebook ads, and that makes me excited. Just hearing you talk about it makes me excited to try my hand at it.
Which is cool, because Amadeus is somewhat of a data nerd himself. So it's like looking at that. The big question, if somebody wants to take the course and get as much out of it as I did, and again, I did it as a beta tester, so it was not ready for prime time yet, because what we encourage our course developers to do too is do a beta test. And from the conversations that you and I have had, it sounds like the feedback, much like mine, has been overwhelmingly positive, which I think is great. So how could somebody take that course or work with you if they were interested?
Hey, thank you for asking. I appreciate it very much. It's just been a great speaking with you guys. So right now you could go to basichomeads.com. I named it basic because, again, we really want to make it easy for you to understand and get started. And you can purchase the course right now for $35.
Whoa, wait, you said $35.
Yeah, $35.
And just so the audience knows, because I was a beta tester, I didn't know what the price point was going to be. Go there right now and buy this course.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, my initial goal is to get people started. I want to see results, and that's why I'm coming in there maybe some people told me it's a little low, but I want to see this get out there and see people succeed doing this. It's like there's many reasons to get up in the morning and to live your life the best that you can. And this is just something that motivates me, because while many of us are struggling, we don't have to. There are so many options out there for us to increase our influence, our income, to reach people with the messages that they are looking for. That's the news, people. People are looking for you online, yes. Right? And so ads are just a great way to reach them with what they're looking for, and just to present easy solutions to the problems our businesses face and, each community.
Oh, I love it. And, the other thing, just to kind of jump in, even if down the road somebody thinks, oh, I want to hire an agency to do this for me, I would still strongly encourage people, and this is the former teacher in me coming out, to take the course, because how do you know that the agency is doing the right thing for you if you don't know what they're talking about? Mm-hmm. So, I've been in those meetings. I've come from the corporate world, and there are meetings where people are like, oh yeah, we'll do the widget and da-da-da-da-da, and you're just like, sure, okay. Right. So if I'm going to pay somebody $1,500 or $2,000 or $3,000 to manage my ads for me, it really helps to know what they're talking about.
That's a great point.
And it gives that level of confidence, because then you also know, like, oh, wait a minute, is that really what they mean? And so I, again, would just encourage people to check out the course for $35. I mean, you can't buy a good hardback novel for $35.
Yes. And something else that we're including now too, is if you get the course, you're also going to get a free ad resource center that has over 125 ad examples from the top advertisers, and also the top 10 ad templates that virtually every advertiser is using. And one thing that I'm including in the course is basically just a 14-day onboarding help. Especially people getting in there new. If you have questions, if you said, hey, I'd love if you took 10 minutes and looked at my account, what's a great strategy for me? I am here, and I have some other people in my team. We are just ecstatic to help you do that as well. So yeah, I can't say it'll stay at 35 for forever, but really though, our heart is to see people succeed. And I just want to thank both of you again for having me on. I appreciate it. And just thank you both.
It was great having you.
And I will make sure that in the show notes, I include basichomeads.com so that people who are watching this on the replay know where to go. And Michael, it's been my pleasure having you as a guest. Amadeus, any parting words?
Keep at it, man. Sounds like you're doing great.
Hey, thank you very much. It was nice to virtually meet you.
You as well.
Great. Well, everyone, have a great day. I'll put Michael's contact information so that everyone can track him down and find the course. We really appreciate you spending some of your morning with us today. So have a great day, everyone. Signing off for this week's episode of Create, Engage, Succeed.
Bye.